Ladies and gentlemen, we are live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music and all wrestling matters. And while today may be St. Patrick's Day, and some may hope for the luck of the Irish, we're going to talk with a man who may not need luck on his side to win that championship that he has long coveted here coming up this Sunday. And he'll do that in front of friends and family. We talked about that last time he was on the air. He'll tell us why he's going to come with some gold and maybe fracture a guy that's got that championship. And no, we're not talking about a guy like me who's got a fractured hand. He'll talk about a fractured CJ Flores. We'll get into that. We'll also talk about some familiar faces coming up this Sunday and some places that you maybe seen them on here but are showing up there where this guy is going to be. We'll get into certainly what's going on with the establishment HCW. We'll talk about some other places. We'll talk about some other things. We'll make some announcements, and we will certainly get you ready for a busy evening here on Sportswire Radio. And maybe we'll just sing, he's a brick house. Just maybe we'll do that. But it is now time to give this man that introduction. And as I always say every time he comes on, I owe him that introduction because, after all, he does come from the PWF, which, yes, I know the PWF was a thing, but it is a thing still on Instagram, and he was a part of that. And I must now give him that introduction to start this week off. And what a night it is here in the sports world. You got March Madness, NBA getting ready for the playoffs, WBC. And this guy, I have no doubt, will certainly push all those to the side. It is now time to start it off here on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and all wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, Sports Show, a man that had humble beginnings and the Pride Wrestling Federation, but now you see him in places like Avon Championship Wrestling and SSW. His name is simply but the House. J Night Jr. My friend, how are we doing?
Man, we're doing pretty great, all things considered. First time getting to wrestle in my hometown, as you mentioned, this Sunday, When Worlds Collide, Super Southern Wrestling, Haybarn Championship Wrestling, Full Throttle Wrestling Association, 3 wrestling brands, 1 building, 1 city. It's going to be an amazing time. I can't wait to talk about it.
Absolutely. We talked about it a lot last month, and what a week it is here in the sports world, the wrestling world. We're on the road to WrestleMania, and Joey Knight Jr., you're on the road to the biggest show of your career. And before I do that, I want to say hello to somebody who's here in the chat that I have known for 20 years, just about 20 years on the nose, and he reconnected with me through LinkedIn about 4 or so months ago. That is my very good buddy, Mr. Angel himself out there, who's excited for my interview at 11 o'clock Eastern time with the very, very lovely Julia Lodgy, and her husband only just played with this guy Adrian Smith, who is in this little band called Iron Maiden. But she's
Yeah,
taken,
you know.
she's married. So if you get any ideas, Angel, not going to work. But we'll talk about that later. But Joey Knight Jr., let's talk about it because that's the way I kind of segued you coming back on to Sportswire Radio. We are now less than 5 days from the biggest match of your career. Set the tables for us and what we can expect coming up this Sunday. 3 companies in one, and you have a chance to win that Super Southern Wrestling Championship from a guy who, like me, is fractured, but his first and last name is CJ Flores.
Yeah, When Worlds Collide has definitely changed the past couple of weeks. This time last week, I thought I was going to be in the FTWA Rumble fighting for the Full Throttle Wrestling Association Heavyweight Championship. And maybe that way I get into the main event and face CJ Flores. But now I have a direct opportunity in the main event. I mean, I still earned it. Don't get me wrong. I defeated arguably one of the best independent professional wrestlers going today in Aaron Storm at
Absolutely.
at HCW's debut at the Daffodil Festival in Camden, Arkansas. First time wrestling in Camden, Arkansas. Possibly the biggest crowd I've wrestled for in HCW on that day. And yeah, just one of those pressure make diamond situations. And we have another one coming up this Sunday. Don't know who is going to be that mystery third man from the FTWA Rumble. Could be Big Hoss. It could be one of my fellow establishment teammates in Eclipse or Aaron
Mm,
Black. It could be one of my longtime enemies, whether it be Matthew De Luna, Black
mm.
Savage, or Leslie Lorenzo, who has reared his Chia Pet
Ugly,
looking ugly head
ugly
here
head. Yes,
recently.
yes, your ugly head.
But all the different combinations aside, I mean, like you said, this is the biggest match of my career and my hometown in front of my family and friends, a lot of who are going to see me wrestle for the very first time, and I don't intend on losing this one.
That's an interesting point because we spoke about that last month you were on the show, and now you have an opportunity not just to wrestle in front of your hometown, but now to wrestle for a world heavyweight championship against a guy, CJ Flores, who I've had on the platform, a guy that has certainly established himself, to steal a phrase from your group, very well. And a lot of people, all I heard last month from guys like the Big Horse, Ryan Days, Mickey Vargas, who certainly in his own right has had plenty to say and plenty to do of late. Everybody swore up and down that he wasn't going to be the SSW heavyweight champion by the time March 22nd rolled around. Well, we're here, but yet now you've got that opportunity, not just to wrestle in front of your hometown, but now for a chance to win the first world championship of your career. And, no pressure, huh?
Yeah, definitely no pressure. I mean, the first real opportunity at a World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, I've wrestled for the FTWA World Title previously, the last time we had a Rumble. But as far as like a real opportunity at a World Championship, this is going to be my first time, and it's in front of my hometown, in front of my people. So yeah, like you said, no pressure at all. Like, yeah, just another day at the office. But at the end of the day, it's not, um, because there is all that pressure. You have the normal pressure of, okay, I'm finally wrestling in my hometown. Like, I can't screw up. I have to make sure everything looks good. I have to be in top form. And now that pressure is multiplied by 100 because a world title's on the line, because it's the
Yeah,
main event
listen,
slot.
world
It's the
title
last thing these people
opportunities.
are going to see that day.
Yeah, listen, world title opportunities don't come that often. You just never know. I mean, right now, the WBC's on. You got March Madness right now, college basketball. People are filling out their brackets. The NBA is coming down the stretch here. NHL is coming down the stretch. I mean, it's a busy time in the sports world, and we're in that championship season. And listen, if you don't come through this coming Sunday, not only will you have to deal with friends and family, but you'll also have to deal with the fact that you don't know when the next world title shot comes. You don't know when the next world title opportunity comes. So there's a lot here on the line because these title shots people don't give them out like candy.
Yeah, no, I mean, been going for almost 2 years now, and like I said, the first real opportunity I've got at a world title. Yeah, I've been tag team champion before. Yeah, I've been a hardcore champion before, and I've had my opportunities here and there at various other titles. But as far as an opportunity at a world championship, this is something I've been scratching and clawing for a very long time now. But at the end of the day, I I just have this gut feeling that after beating someone like Aaron Storm, deep down inside, that is the confidence boost I needed to where I know I can walk out of this show in Texarkana at When Worlds Collide. I can beat CJ Flores. I can beat whoever that third man's going to be, and I can walk out as the new SSW World Heavyweight Championship. I will proudly hold that championship above my head in my city of Texarkana, and I will take it back to Houston, which is a city that I could pretty much at this point call my second home as many times as I've been there. So this is an opportunity I cannot let slip by me.
No, you definitely can't. And listen, there's no pressure on me right now because Angel, my buddy who remembers me from 20 years ago, and I'm here in front of him. That's a lot of pressure. Just a buddy of mine all of a sudden decided to show up on the live show. I'm just kidding, but no, there's no pressure at all. But you have the real pressure, and I want to talk to you before I show the match in that mystery man. And, it's one thing to prepare for CJ. I know CJ, you know him very well. CJ's definitely one guy that it takes a lot to prepare for, but how do you prepare for somebody you don't know who you're going to wrestle?
I mean, the main thing I can do in this situation is just look at the list of people and all right, if I faced them before, all right, I know what I'm getting into. If I haven't faced them before, then I got to study the tape on them. But at the current moment, my main focus is the man that I know is going to be in that match, and that's CJ
But
Flores.
there's still another person, though. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to have that in the back of your mind. You've been doing this a while. I mean, I've
Mhm.
known you a while. I mean, you can say, sure, I'm going to prepare for CJ, but there's another guy here.
Yeah, and and that is important because I mean, at the end of the day, there's 15 different options on who this third guy can be, but also I have to spend my time preparing wisely. And if I spend too much time focusing on one of the 15 possibilities this third man could be, and I don't focus enough time on CJ, then it doesn't matter who that third man is going to be because CJ is going to come out on top anyway if I don't focus on him enough. And I mean, you know, at the end of the day, two of those 15 options are my establishment stablemates. So not saying they're just going to roll over and let me take this one if they are one of the, possible third man. But I mean, that is a possibility. And it's a possibility of, okay, if that is a case that happens, CJ's taken care of. And it's just down to me and either Aaron Black or Eclipse. But yeah, like you said, I can't take the mystery of the third man too lightly, but I also can't worry about them too much as well. It's like that. It's a nice little trick in my head right now.
Yeah, listen, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Let me ask you one further question before we put the tape up and get into some other topics. There's a lot to talk about here in a short amount of time. Friends and family, what are they saying to you before this coming weekend?
The ones who see me wrestle before live, they've just been telling me, just do what you've been doing, do what you know how to do. And the ones who have never seen me before, the message is simple. We're just happy that we finally get to see you live. Doesn't matter win, lose, or draw. Obviously, we want to come there and see you win. We're going to hope you win. We're going to cheer and, rile you up to win. But at the end of the day, we're just happy to finally see you in your home city, in our home city, doing what you want to do. So it's very reassuring going into
Well,
that
that's
with that
good. I
kind of
mean, because
motivation.
some people would be like, "Hey, look, you don't walk away with that world championship. Don't talk to me." Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it goes with friends and family. Sometimes they want to see you and have that success, and they want to bask in that glory. But let's go to the tape. Let's see why you have momentum for a change. And if you're out there, do me a favor, go hit the sub button for Joey. You almost have to because he does come from the Pride Wrestling Federation. And I see some people here in the chat. We'll get to them. We do want to get your establishment brethren back onto the platform. I think next month will certainly be the right time for that. So we will do that. And we want to thank everybody for being here. And speaking of other champions, so we'll get to who you think I'm talking about. But let me put your most recent matchup and talk about why you have momentum. And let me do that here shortly. There we go. Okay, I got it right up here. 1 second. There we go. Okay, here we go. Let me pull it up. There we go. Technical difficulties. But okay, so here we go. We're out there, and just talk to me about what's it like wrestling outside here in this environment.
It was definitely something different. Only my third ever time being in an outdoor environment, but definitely my first time being in an outdoor environment where the crowd was just on fire the entire time, like they were tonight. Um, First time in a very long time, from my understanding, that Camden, Arkansas had gotten some live professional wrestling, and I was honored to be a part of that with Haybarn Championship Wrestling. But not only just be a part of that, but this was the main event, and a goal I had told myself that I had coming into 2026 was, I've been in main events before, whether it be triple threats, fatal four ways, or tag team matches or whatever. But one of the goals I had for myself this year is I want to be the main event one on one. I wanted that pressure to be solely reliant on me. Like, hey, here's your main event right here is Joey Knight Jr. versus this one other person. And hopefully the crowd shows. And the crowd did show. It was possibly one of, if not the biggest crowd I've got to perform in front of. Hundreds of people coming in and out throughout the
I was
entire
going to
night.
say, it looks like about, 150, 200 people there?
Yeah, I mean, the people in Camden, Arkansas really showed us like, hey, we don't want this to be the only time Haybarn Championship Wrestling comes through town. So, Camden, Arkansas, we heard you loud and proud. We will definitely be bringing some more HCW action to y'all. And Camden's going to hold a special place in my heart. The Daffodil Festival is going to hold a special place in my heart because I I got to accomplish one of those goals that I set out for myself this year, and that was to have a one-on-one singles main event. And this was my first time doing it. This match right here against a guy who I needed to beat, not only just because it would advance me to the main event of my hometown show at When Worlds Collide for the SSW World Title, but this is a man who beat me before. I've had previous history of Aaron Storm. He was my second ever singles match, my fourth match ever, and he cheated to win. But at the end of the day, the record book still says a W next to Aaron Storm. Doesn't matter how he got it. And here we are. That was December 2024. This is February 2026. So we're talking about 14 months later, 14 months of improvement, 14 months of going around, grinding, working, all these different independent professional wrestling companies. And now I have a second opportunity to prove that I can hang with someone like Aaron Storm, and not just hang with someone like Aaron Storm, but beat him.
And I'm sure you must have rather have wrestled outside in March rather than, say, July or August.
Yes. Now, even though I've been born and raised in the South in my entire life, born in Louisiana, raised my entire life in Texas, I do not like the warm weather. If it's anything above 75, 80 degrees, I start complaining.
Although I will tell you, Joey, considering our brethren in the IMF were here yesterday, and I was talking to some of them off the air, and they were in the middle of a blizzard. And here in New York, it felt like 20 degrees today. I will gladly take, Joey, 75 degrees and up if it's every single day for the rest of my life at this point. But I can understand where you're coming from in the deep South.
Now we did just experience for 2 days, and now we're going back to the normal 70-degree weather. But we did get like a nice 2-day cold front of having 30-degree weather and having
Maybe
a
because of
45
Vargas's friends. Vargas's friends from Buffalo, the 716. Maybe they brought in that cold.
You know what? Guys like the Selfish Generation and all them guys, his Buffalo crew, you know what? At the end of the day, since they're associated with Mickey Vargas, I may not be too fond of them. But if they can bring on the colder weather, if that's how it happens, and we get cold fronts because the Buffalo crew comes in, then sure, I guess they're welcome back to Texas anytime. Sure, go ahead.
Well, we're going to certainly find out there's somebody else from the Northeast that's coming into a show that you're going to be on, which we're extremely excited about. But we are watching Joey Knight Jr. out there in the ring in his most recent singles match. And you can check in out here against Aaron Storm. And please also support Haybarn Championship Wrestling. Also support Joey on his YouTube channel, which we've put the link up here for. So please support him. We have a lot to talk about. My name here is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally. We're all music and all wrestling matters, and we are watching Joey Knight Jr., the Brickhouse versus Aaron Storm. So talk to me about where we are in the match and how you're feeling at this moment.
We're still kind of in the feeling out process of the matchup. Aaron Storm, his quickness, his agility, it's gone over me on a couple times in this matchup. So I've just had to use what I know. And I mean, like as if I said it, it appears like it's Joe Hendry. His quickness and agility coming into play here. Bam.
Yeah, he's really good off the top rope. I mean, just that little 1-2 combo there. I mean, outstanding.
Yeah, but it's going to take a little more than that to keep the brick house down. Just true classic story of speed and agility versus power and just brawler style, I guess you could say, from my end. I do try to sprinkle in, being around someone like Aaron Black, my fellow establishment teammate, being around him enough, you turn out to pick up some of those high flying offensive maneuvers every now and then. I try to sprinkle that in when I can to keep guys like this, Aaron Storm, on their toes. But right now, he tried going for my territory, and that's the strike territory. And I'm showing him right now, leave the chopping to me, buddy.
So let me ask you. It's an interesting point because you and I were talking about Aaron Black off the air. So I guess in preparing for Aaron Storm, are you preparing for him in the same way you would envision wrestling your brethren in the establishment, Aaron Black?
I guess in a way, yeah, you can relate it to that because, and I guess that's the benefit of the establishment members all being like their own different people, all having different styles, because now we know how to wrestle other people with those different styles because we train all the time together. So, like with Aaron Black, I know how to handle quick athletic guys. With the Real Deal Clips, I know how to handle technician and brawlers.
Yep.
Because that's his style.
Yep.
And then I help my guys deal with being in the ring with powerhouses, being in the ring with guys that are going to be bigger than them. So, yeah, training with those guys all the time, it definitely helps me on occasions like this with Aaron Storm and help me out with maneuvers like that. A beautiful second rope drop kick. Unfortunately, did not get the pin right there, but it does come to its advantage. It definitely has its advantages for matches like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that there's a point to be made in training and being alongside different people. And obviously, Aaron Storm does show what he's done a few different things in the ring that has tried to give him the upper hand. And there he is using that agility, using his quickness off the top rope to try to score a victory. But you're the brick house and they don't call you that for nothing. And that's why you bounce back here. And obviously he really should have continued on you, but didn't. And he was kind of talking to the crowd and looking back, but now he gets up, but kind of methodically here. I mean, the match obviously started very slow between you two, but certainly it's picked up here a little bit, but he goes back on you, but he had an opportunity for a little bit more quick strike offense to steal a phrase from the birthday boy recently, quick strike Johnny Velocity. But obviously, again, he's talking to the referee. And, I always hate seeing that on here because, nobody should be talking back and forth to the referee because your opponent's down. Go out there and work on your opponent, keep him down, and get that 1, 2, 3 and get out of town. But Aaron Storm's not doing that, but he is going to continue to throw you to the outside. And again, just going back and you seem to turn around. Yes, you ain't going to go down like that. And you just caught his leg and that just, again, he gave you too much time. He gave you way too much time, and he's not going to be able to lift you up from the outside on a suplex. I don't think that's going to work, especially with your strength and what you bring to the table. But he is trying to get you down, and he's got you down. It looks like he's got you down kind of half-heartedly. You're half down, but there he goes back to what's worked throughout the evening. And listen, that's what Aaron Storm, they don't call him Aaron Storm for nothing. And obviously they call him that for a reason. You could see why. And again, now it's to the outside, and he's got probably where you're most vulnerable at this moment.
Yeah, and going back to what you said, Aaron Storm, he is, I mean, like I said earlier, I'll give the man his flowers. He is one of the best independent pro wrestlers going today. But unfortunately, he knows it. He knows it. He knows how talented he is, and that cockiness gets to him. And add on to the fact that yeah, he's gotten a win over me before, so yeah, he's probably not taking this match too seriously, which he's gonna regret at some points in this matchup. Talking to the official, not staying on top of me. I mean, I've met plenty of guys like Aaron Storm. I've been in the ring with plenty of guys.
I've talked about plenty of guys
Yeah.
like that. It's one of the things that it always frustrates me, because especially if you've been doing this for a while, and especially if you know how it works, and you have a chance to get your opponent down and get that 1, 2, 3. That's what it's all about. It should never be where you're going back and forth with the referee, because the referee's not the one that's your opponent. The referee is not the one that you're supposed to attack, but yet it's always something here, and he's had a couple of different times, Aaron Storm, where he's going back and forth with the referee here, and here he goes again. That's another thing that I just always see. This gives guys an opportunity, but there you go, using your strength, and you've got a chance now, and you're willing yourself with your left arm and to get back up, and you could see that crowd. What a big crowd it is here. We've seen some big HEW crowds on Sportswire over the past year, but this crowd in Camden, Arkansas is definitely fired up. It's probably one of the first days that they've had a chance to go outside and enjoy the weather, and to preview a spring, and Joey Knight Jr. needs to spring back up to his feet to try to get that 1, 2, 3, and he's willing himself, just crawling, and there's Aaron Storm. It's almost like two warriors fighting it out here after everything they put each other through for more than 10 minutes, and here we go. But Aaron Storm has got up and wait, not quite 1, 2, 3, and just Joey Knight Jr. That's why he's the Brickhouse. That's why he was the former HCW Hardcore Champion. Look at those punches back and forth, and Aaron Storm's never going to win a brawl with Joey Knight Jr. And yeah, there's 1, 2. Come on, get another. And there he goes, duck. There's another one. And Joey Knight Jr. is starting to get fired up. Joey's starting to feel it, ladies and gentlemen. He is starting to feel it. He is starting to let us know why he is called the Brick House. And here we go. Oh, but Aaron Storm off that top rope once again goes back to the well that's worked for him throughout this match. But Joey Knight Jr. looks to lift him up like a sack of potatoes. And here we go. And he's
rock him 99 goodbye.
Well, you know what? Rockabye, baby. Put him to sleep, because it's 1, 2, 2 9/10. You had him, Joey Knight Jr.
Yeah.
But in the words of Lee Corso, not so fast.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, as cocky as he is just as equally as tough and resilient. So, I mean, I still got to give the man his flowers, as annoying as he is, and as unseriously as he took me at times in this matchup. And you see, boom, took a nice leather boot to the face right there. That didn't feel too good.
Oh, that's going to hurt. We talked, Anthony Steele had given his own version when he was here on Friday's show, and those things hurt. But, Joey, you've got to get out of this, and I don't know if Aaron can lift you up. I don't think that's the right move. Oh, my God! Joey, I think you had him, but Aaron Storm has got right back up to his feet, and so do you. And
he's definitely on Dream Street in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, clothesline from hell, I think you got him, but
I will admit, I did myself take a little bit too much time right here, and boom, I eat another boot for it.
Well, I mean, listen, that's something you'll have to go back to the tape and not do with CJ Flores, because you can't do that with him coming up this Sunday, especially with what's on the line, especially with all the friends and family that are going to be there to support you coming up. But now we're going up to the top rope. We're going up to the high rent district, and certainly we know a lot about the high rents here in New York City. If Angel's here, he'll definitely get a chuckle about that. But Aaron Storm is up out on that top rope. So are you. Listen, yeah, that's gonna hurt. That side elbow is gonna definitely leave a mark, and you're definitely gonna throw it a lot harder than he would, and you're gonna try to lift him up here with that suplex, and boom, we got him. He got him. He got him, Joey. You've got to just find the strength in that crowd. You could feel those chants. They're trying to get you back up. And one, two. Ah, Joey. With a guy like Aaron Storm, you knew that that wasn't quite going to be the be all end all.
Yeah, man. You throw some heavy shots and you think it's going to be over. A little too much time on the recovery, and it was just enough. I could have been there 1 second sooner. Maybe I hooked both of the legs.
Only
But
takes
I
three.
only hooked one on that cover. And here we go.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. He's going back to what
Oh,
works for him. Beautiful cutter right there. I
yep.
hate being on the receiving end of it, but beautiful
One,
nonetheless.
two. Oh, but listen, you know what's on the line here. You know that that title shot is on the line, and that wasn't going to do it. Maybe in a normal occasion it might have, but not here, ladies and gentlemen. Not with what's on the line. Notwithstanding, you know it. But there he goes, right back at Aaron Storm going back and forth, going back with the crowd and that back and forth, and that's going to certainly be costly, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you why in a minute. We're watching that footage, and just again, the going back and forth. The crowd is not in the ring. It's Joey Knight Jr. that's in that ring, and Aaron Storm is looking to finish you. And wait, Joey gets out of it. But wait, oh wait, he missed. He missed that, and he's gonna pay for that because boom, go cover him. One, two, three, and your winner, the Brick House, Joey Knight Jr. Joey, it looked like that match was over, and Aaron Storm went to the well too many times, and you were able to get out of it, and then one, two, three. Big win, Joey, and that's why we're here talking about what's ahead here in front of friends and family this Sunday.
Yeah, man, absolutely the biggest win of my career so far. It won't be the biggest win of my career for much longer because, like I said earlier, I got the good feeling about it. You saw Aaron Storm in the ring. Everyone in the audience saw Aaron Storm in the ring. If I can beat someone like Aaron Storm, then I know in my heart I can beat CJ Flores. I can beat whoever that third man is. Don't matter which of the 15 options that it is. Doesn't matter who's going to be in my way this Sunday. I am walking out with the SSW World Heavyweight Championship.
I'm going to come back to that toward the end of the show because I'm going to ask you what you probably expect me to ask about that SSW Championship. Let me get to a few comments. I want to give you something, and we'll talk about a few other things. Zilla's here first, as always. Thank you, Zilla, for being here. Want to say hello to our friends who'll be back on here Monday from the EWA. The High Authority, Hubie Jenkins himself, Haya from a meteor-filled EWA arena. And yes, it's meteors, blizzards, and everything else in between. Thank you, Angel, for being here earlier. I hope you give Joey a follow on his YouTube channel, but I think he's waiting for Julia Lodgy at 11 o'clock. And Angel's not the biggest wrestling fan, but he tuned in, which we appreciate that. Well, listen, he was here. So hopefully you got to follow from it. Everyone counts. Let me get to a man that's been here many times alongside you, our champion in HCW. You're not a true diamond in the rough for no reason. Remember what we talked about. However, if it comes down to, remember, it's not personal. It's just business. Train hard, hashtag straight like that. Yep. Now, I got to ask you, because I saw the promo between yourself, Eclipse, and Aaron Black, and you've talked about that, Aaron or Eclipse. But Eclipse would have an opportunity to be a double heavyweight champion. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? And what if it is, let's say, particular you and the real deal Eclipse? He has a chance to be a double champion.
Yeah, I mean, Eclipse, he is definitely looking to rebound after losing the HCW World Heavyweight title to Draven. So him winning the Rumble, which would then give him the FTWA World Heavyweight Championship, and then having the opportunity to go on to the main event along with myself and then win the SSW World title. Yeah, of course we both want that. Of course he wants to walk out double world champion. Of course I want to walk out with the SSW World Heavyweight title. And then same thing for Aaron Black. He was on a roll, lost his social media title after having this huge moment in HCW history, ended the longest reign in HCW history, and then just out of nowhere lost a social media title. Aaron Black is looking to rebound. he wants to walk out a double world heavyweight champion with the FTWA and the SSW world title. But at the end of the day, one of them will walk out as one world champion. Because I do believe in my brothers. I do believe that in my heart of hearts, Eclipse or Aaron Black will win the FTWA Rumble. But they will not win the triple threat match for the SSW World Heavyweight Championship. They will walk out a World Heavyweight Champion, just not the SSW World Heavyweight Champion. I'm sorry, my brothers, and I know they know at the end of the day, like Eclipse said, and like I said before, it's not personal. It's just business. The best man is going to win, and the best man on March 22nd is Joey Knight Jr.
Well, I wanted to go further on that because, again, being a double champion, and let's say Eclipse wins the Rumble, and let's say Aaron wins the Rumble, and this is kind of a big moment for the establishment. I know we've talked in the past, a lot last year about when's the things are going to crack for the establishment, but right now, Eclipse has lost the world title. You guys lost a shot at the tag titles. You don't have the hardcore title. We talked about the social media championship in the past. I mean, so right now, this is kind of a big show for you guys here. I mean, you in front of your friends and family have a chance to win the SSW championship, another company's title. We talked about conversely when the big horse, Ryan Days, and Mickey were here about guys like yourself and Eclipse or Aaron Black from HCW, Matthew Day Luna, and another man you've got quite a history with coming in there and walking in and winning their Rumble. But now guys here in HCW have an opportunity to win a Rumble here. So this is really a big weekend here coming up for the establishment because you guys right now are probably in a almost at a crossroads right now once again.
Yeah, I'll definitely say this Sunday is make or break in a lot of ways because, I mean, there is that possibility. What if neither Eclipse or Aaron Black win the Rumble and it's someone else like Black Savage or Matthew Day Luna or Leslie Lorenzo or Big Hoss or D'Angelo LaFlame? And what if I don't win the triple threat match? And then none of us walk out with a world title. None of us walk out with a win in our hometown. But at the end of the day, I can't dwell on that too much. I know the importance of this night. It's the first time all three of us are going to have an opportunity like this to wrestle in our hometown. First time for all three of us, I believe. And where all three of us are in high profile matches. And it, like I said, make or break is this Sunday for a lot of us. We are at that crossroads. We come from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows in one
Yeah, I mean, you
weekend.
guys have been on here with all of you have had championship gold at one point. I know we've talked a lot about you guys as a group and ups and downs, but I think going into this Sunday, it's a little different. It hits home more, obviously, because you guys are wrestling in front of friends and family, but also because of what happened this past weekend in HCW. But also now you guys have an opportunity as individuals. I mean, you're in the main event, and certainly, again, Eclipse and Aaron Black have a major opportunity. And if it comes to it, they win the Rumble, they win a world title, and then they have a chance to steal your thunder, your spotlight. And so it's really different than previous shows. Either you have been here or the entire group has been here because of what has transpired, but potentially now what could divide you guys.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I knew was coming with this scenario. I've been hearing about it ever since Friday, ever since I got the opportunity to defeat Aaron Storm and then automatically put myself in the main event. Because before, when all three of us were in the Rumble match, it was, okay, well, which one of the establishment is going to win the FTWA title? But now it's, oh, hey, Joey Knight Jr., how are you going to feel if Aaron Black or Eclipse are selfish, quote unquote, and win the FTWA world title in the Rumble and then steal the SSW world title from you in the main event? I've already heard that question, plenty of times over the course of the past few days. And it's one of those things where, yeah, that could happen. That, the dream scenario is Eclipse or Aaron walk out with one world title and then I walk out with the other. But yeah, one of them walking out with both world titles is a possibility. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to hold it against neither one of them if that's the case. If it is the scenario that Aaron Black is a double world champion, if it's the scenario where Eclipse is a double world champion, I'll just know in my heart of hearts that, hey, at the end of the day, Eclipse or Aaron Black were the better men on March 22nd. March 22nd just wasn't my night. It was one of their nights. And I know they'll feel the same way if they don't walk out double champion. If they just walk out with one world heavyweight title and I walk out with the SSW world title, I know in my heart of hearts that they'll feel the same way. We're at a point now where I know it's hard to say because of our history and everything. You know, you've seen firsthand a lot of the tumultuous relationship up and down that the establishment has been through. Um, but we've all gone past that now. We
Yeah, I
we
mean,
got
listen, we was,
yeah.
obviously, once upon a time, you had Kip Havoc in the group, and he left and,
Yeah.
tried to go to greener pastures. But now I think hits home differently because of what may divide you in a way. I mean, I hate to ask you this question because I think you've answered it, but some would even say maybe deep down you wouldn't want Real Deal Eclipse or Aaron Black to win that Rumble because of what could divide you guys. And, some may say deep down, maybe you'd want that. I'm sure you'll answer differently, but I have to pose that question to you. Would you deep down almost be rooting against your brothers in the establishment to win the Rumble?
I mean it. I mean, if I was to say that the thought didn't at least cross my mind for 1 second, then I'd be a liar. But it's one of those quick thoughts. It's like, well, do I really want Eclipse or Aaron to win the Rumble? And then immediately it's shoved out because of course I want one of them to win the Rumble because at the end of the day, I want one of them to have a world championship, whether it's Eclipse's second time being a world champion or Aaron Black's first time being a world champion. I just know that that outcome of one of them winning the Rumble and one of them winning the FTWA World Heavyweight Championship is not going to affect my outcome. It's not going to affect me winning the SSW World Heavyweight Championship. So, of course, I'm going to support and cheer on one of my brothers winning the FTWA Rumble so that way one of them can walk out of their home city of in front of their friends and family as a world champion. But I'm going to be walking out the main event in front of my friends, in front of my family, as another world champion, that being the Super Southern Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion.
There's a lot there, and obviously Eclipse would like to point out that we will never crack. We are family, not your normal wrestling faction. You guys can say that again,
Yeah.
regardless of what happens. No, listen, I mean, that's, a point you guys have been on here a lot throughout the past year, and you guys have been on here on a few occasions collectively, and I think that you've established that, but, you have to still ask that question. I was wondering though on Sunday's show for a minute because I was excited about it, not just because obviously you guys were all going to be there, but the Big Horse, CJ Flores, Mickey Vargas, certainly guys that have certainly become staples in this platform. But there's a guy that I know very well for the past couple of years that's going to be coming this way, and he's from the Northeast. And I've seen this guy rise, almost just like how I've seen you rise from the Pride Wrestling Federation to where you are today, main eventing in front of friends and family, a chance to be a world champion. And there's this guy that certainly blazed his own trail. It has blazed away now where he's gone to many places throughout the independent wrestling circuit. And I've seen his career grow exponentially recently in the past year. And I have to ask you about this because for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, what is your thoughts on the Blaze Ace Christian now showing up here and now showing up to wrestle for the HCW International Championship? This guy comes from my neck of the woods. He comes from the Northeast, and I have to ask you, what do you expect from the Blaze Ace Christian coming up here this Sunday as he challenges for that HCW International Championship?
May be controversial for me to say, but when Ace Christian was announced, I searched him up, I started watching some of his matches, and the kid is really good. And I say kid because he's 19 years old. Man, that makes me feel old being 28, old and ancient. But but the
Well,
kid
not
is really
compared to James
good.
Taylor. Not compared to James Taylor.
Fair point. No offense, James. But no, like the kid has a bright future on him. Like he is already so good despite being so young. And not gonna lie, just from what I've seen so far, we all know my history and the establishment's history of Carnage. And I don't know if you've seen, but D'Angelo had some words
Yep.
for Haybarn and what he thinks about our champion and everything else. So, with that being said, I know controversial, and I know I should be waving the HCW flag and everything else, and I should be picking everyone on Team HCW no matter what. But it would be really sweet to see Ace Christian take away the HCW International Championship from the Bishop, take it away from Carnage. And yes, I know that means take it away from Hayborn Championship Wrestling, but that's above my pay grade to figure out what our owner, Billy Hall, would do if that were to be the case. Um, but no, like like I said, might be controversial because I am Team HCW, but I would like to see Ace Christian walk away with that international championship. I would like to see him put Bishop in his place, shut Bishop up,
Ooh.
and knock Bishop down a peg or two and take that
I,
title from him.
I listen. I've seen Ace Christian like you. I've interviewed him many times, and I've seen him rise up the ranks into where he's about to come this Sunday. But I don't know if Ace Christian is going up in there with somebody like Bishop and certainly D'Angelo on the SSW side. I mean, he's held gold in West Virginia, no question. Ace Christian has been a guy a lot of people talk about here on Sportswire over the past 2.5 years, but I think Ace Christian's got a tough
Hey,
task here coming up. Don't you
I,
agree?
he does. He does have quite the
You
task
should
in
know
front
that
of him.
firsthand better than anybody. I mean, I don't have to
Yeah,
tell you that, right?
yeah. I mean, especially if dealing with Carnage, the numbers game, and then they got the mask and the body suits on, so they like
We've
to
seen
pull
him
that
here. They've
twin
done here
magic.
before in the past.
Yes, but listen, you know, it's been like a month or so, couple months since the football season ended. What's the saying? Any given Sunday? Well, Sunday, March 22nd could be that any given Sunday. It only takes 3 seconds to win a match. At the end of the day, I know he's young. He's definitely the least experienced guy in the matchup, but I would not be surprised if Ace Christian does it. I'm pulling for Ace Christian to do it because nothing would be so sweeter. Nothing would be so sweet than to see Bishop and Carnage lose their absolute minds at the fact that someone like Ace Christian took away the international championship from their grasp. And that just means no more power. Carnage has no more power over HCW because they've lost the tag team titles. The only thing they have left is that international title. If it gets taken away from them, they have nothing over HCW anymore. So, you know what? I wouldn't, you know what? I can live if D'Angelo won the international title because, I mean, hey, he's cocky, but have you seen him wrestle in the ring? He's got a good
Yeah,
reason to be cocky.
I have. I have.
Um, but but at the end of the day, I'm putting my money on Ace Christian. You know,
Wow, I'll tell you what. That's you know what, you're really going out there. I mean, boy, I did kind of expect you to be a company man and say, I've seen what Carnage has done. I've seen Bishop, and I'm going Bishop here all the way. But listen, Ace Christian's a darling, man. He's a
it,
darling out there in this scene, and I mean, I'm definitely surprised, but I'm taking it back, Joey.
listen, you talk about being a company man. Me picking Ace Christian is being a company man because I know you've seen what Carnage has done in
Yes,
in,
I've had him
in,
on
in,
here. Yes.
in their reign of terror over HCW. Ace Christian or D'Angelo for that matter, but me personally, Ace Christian, that would be a benefit to HCW. Even though it's taken away from a HCW superstar, and now
Right.
Billy Hall has to have this mountain of paperwork and everything else he would have to figure out if Ace Christian did take the belt away. At the end of the day, I would much rather see someone like Ace Christian holding the international title over anyone from Carnage. So if that means someone that isn't representing Hayborn Championship Wrestling has to take it away from him, by all means. I trust the rest of our roster throughout that show to do what they need to do. You know, one loss to embarrass Carnage won't hurt anything, in my
I don't
opinion.
know. Listen, Ace Christian certainly, his dad has done a lot in the wrestling world. His dad has been the prophet of purgatory. I got that. And Ace Christian has certainly done a lot in a short amount of time now that he's going pro. But I don't know if he's been in a setting like this. It's one thing to be in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, where he's been, Iowa in the past, but it's another to see what's going to happen here. I mean, listen, it's a very, very interesting scenario, and I'm sure Ace will come back on to talk about it. And Ace also is a trivia note because he's the first live guest on Sportswire this year. The first live guest of 2026 was actually Gus G, the second longest tenured guitarist, and for that little guy Ozzy Osbourne. Not too many people know him. And then the first live guest of 2026 is actually Ace Christian. So it's interesting on that. And I'm also very curious to see how Mickey Vargas does here because Mickey just wrestled Anthrax. I'm sure you heard about that and, what happened there and what's left of Mickey. And Mickey was on here to talk about it. Then there was quite a back and forth between Anthrax and Mickey Vargas. So I have no idea what's left of Mickey Vargas. But knowing Mickey Vargas, I'm sure he'll find a way. And obviously the HCW champion's going to be here as well. And, that could be somebody else you might be facing.
Yeah, and definitely someone I wouldn't mind getting my hands on again. I mean, I know you asked the question earlier if there's anyone I would want to win that is an establishment. I mean, I would hate it because it would give him 2 belts. But if I can get my hands on Draven Murrow after what he did to me back in December, hitting me with those knuckle dusters, after he threatened to end Aaron Black's career, after he, once again, robbed his way into a victory and took the HCW world title this past weekend away from Eclipse, I mean, I'm hard pressed not to say that I would like to get that's the only reason I don't like not being in the Rumble anymore. Because at least if I was still in the Rumble, I could probably get my hands on Draven Murrow.
But you want so interesting that you would want Morrow because of what he did to you and also what he took from the Real Deal Eclipse.
One of those things, and same thing goes for Matthew De Luna, same thing goes for Leslie Lorenzo. If one of them were to win, it would be bittersweet.
Look at what Leslie did to you guys this weekend. I mean, So you've got that on your mind, most certainly.
Yeah, Leslie Lorenzo, that Chia Pet looking, I don't want to finish that sentence, but yeah, it turns out he was the mystery attacker.
I can get the button if you want. I can do it.
No, no need. But
that's good because Anthony was on here. We didn't need to do it until the end. And then Anthony went off the rails like he usually does. So then,
good old Anthony.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leslie Lorenzo, to find out that he was the masked individual who cost me my match against Chris Preston, attacked me afterwards, dropped me on my head, and then cost me the tag team titles. Yeah, to say the very least, I was shocked. He was someone I thought who I considered a close confidant, a close friend here in pro wrestling. But I guess not. I guess he has some issue with me stemming from the fact that I beat him in a #1 contenders match and then I lost to Matthew De Luna. Well, Leslie, if you felt like you could have beaten Matthew De Luna, you would have done it in one of y'all's previous 20 matches that you had against him. So clearly you can't beat Matthew De Luna. So I don't see what the issue is. But hey, I will gladly put him in his place when that time comes. But unfortunately, that's not this weekend. It may be later, somewhere down the line, that I put Leslie Lorenzo in his place. But this weekend, I'm focusing on putting CJ Flores in his place, and whoever that third man may be. If it is Leslie Lorenzo, then so be it. If it's Matthew De Luna, so be it. Big Hoss, D'Angelo Flame, Kingpin,
D'Angelo Flame. I almost had to do a double take because I didn't recognize D'Angelo Flame from what I saw on Instagram out there because I was so used to D'Angelo Flame, with the braids and the dreads and. No more. I mean, I had to do a double take.
Same here. Last time I was at SSW, last time I saw him, he had the dreads and everything else. And then I pulled up at SSW last month and I saw the new haircut. I was like, wait a minute. No, that's D'Angelo.
Yeah, I was definitely, I had heard through the grapevine about it. I won't say who said it, but I had heard, then I saw it on Instagram post actually from the Buffalo crew. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's true. Oh, it's really true. And, and obviously, yeah, D'Angelo did want to say, well, I mean, I don't want to say it's sad that he, cut his hair because he obviously had reasons he wanted to cut his hair. But I was, I was a little, yeah, I was sad. I was actually, I love D'Angelo. It was great to see him, in photos. I mean, but I mean, we hope to see him back on Sportswire one of these days because a lot of people would love to hear from him. We've missed him on here, but yeah, I was, you know, definitely taken aback by that. But it's very interesting that this coming, weekend, obviously we're going to see, Ace Christian and D'Angelo LaFlame, and I mean, just that's very fascinating, very fast. Two guys that have been darlings on the platform. Just I think really interesting.
Yeah, a very Sportswire friendly show is
Yes,
this
Mickey Hart,
HCW
Mickey, Big
SSW
Hart, Eclipse,
promotion.
Aaron. Yeah, I mean Aaron, Eclipse, CJ has been on here in the past, and but especially guys. What I'm really excited about this show, really, because when I see guys like D'Angelo and Ace, when I think about the hallmark of Sportswire and the live shows in the past, these two guys played a huge role in that. These were people that a lot of people really, I think wanted to see in their journeys. And I think their personalities are very similar in that sense. And, wrestling wise, they might be a tad different, for obviously different reasons, size, and they do some of the same things. But I think I'm really excited for the show. Obviously, you being on there and a lot of the other guys that have been on here, but to see guys like Ace Christian and D'Angelo LaFlame to be on this show and what they would possibly have an opportunity to do, I think it's a reason why we should all support the show and obviously get everybody else to support it as well and follow HCW, FTWA, and certainly SSW. And, it's really great stuff. And I hope D'Angelo would like to come back on Sportswire one of these days. But in the meantime, it's not sad days because it's your day today on Sportswire. So just disregard the previous comment because it's not a sad day. It's your day. So, D'Angelo, we love D'Angelo. And I did see him with the Waffle House menu. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm not going to ask you what your Waffle House go to in the menu is. I'll leave that to Mr. JTA, J to the Awesome. He was doing that. But
I'm
what
more
I
of a
will,
Denny's guys myself.
yeah, I figured that. And I did see Luke Drake and he obviously didn't want any part of it. But I do want to get your thoughts on first, if you had any final words for CJ Flores and whoever that mystery opponent before this Sunday, what would it be?
CJ, I respect you as a competitor, respect you as a champion, I respect for everything you've done to help build Super Southern Wrestling as a new professional wrestling company. Don't get me wrong on that. But CJ, I hope you more than anyone else can understand my scenario. I hope you understand that this Sunday it's going to be my night. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what you throw my way. Joey Knight Jr. is walking out of Texarkana, Arkansas, the new SSW World Heavyweight Champion, and I'm going to bring that belt back to Houston and celebrate in my second home the next time SSW has a show. CJ, you've been a great champion. You've been a great representative for SSW, but that reign comes to an end on March 22nd.
I have to ask you then, what would it mean to you to be the SSW World Heavyweight Champion?
It it would mean a lot on a lot of different levels. Validation, first off, for the hard work I've been putting in for the almost 2 years now. Well, 2 years since training. In fact, actually, March is the anniversary of when I got back into the professional wrestling ring, when I started training again. So to win a world championship on the 2 year anniversary, either a little after the day or almost to the day of when I started training again, that would be special in of its own right. But then also adding the fact that I consider Super Southern Wrestling the first company to really give me a chance outside of HCW. When I started after I graduated and when I was finally allowed to travel elsewhere and make a name for myself elsewhere, Houston and Super Southern Wrestling was the first home I had, first consistent home I had after HCW. So even though I'd like to say at the end of the day, the first World Heavyweight Championship I won would be the HCW World Heavyweight title, the closest to that would be the SSW World title because of what it means, because of those reasons. Because that was the first place that gave me an opportunity outside of the place that I trained at. The first company that really gave me a shot when they didn't have to. Some kid who's only been wrestling for a year and only been wrestling in Arkansas. No one in Houston's going to know who he is. But here they are. They gave me a chance. They were putting me on the posters, putting me in these big matches against some of the big names in that area. And time again, I've shown that I can hang with their guys. I can hang with some of the best that Houston has to offer. So to win the SSW World Title, a company that I call my second home, in my home, I mean, that would be an incredible feeling right there.
No, it's a lot, and I agree with you about SSW, and I've always supported SSW, and getting the chance to have the guys come on, and I'm happy that you've gotten those opportunities, and I could see what would it mean to you, and just we think about this evening before we sign off, being in front of friends and family, but then have an opportunity to win a championship for a company that gave you an opportunity, getting back out there in the ring. It's your 2-year anniversary almost, and main event, just a lot there. And it's reasons why people should support Super Southern Wrestling, Haybarn Championship Wrestling, FTWA. Please support them on all of their social medias. Please, if you're nearby in the area, come on down and have a good time. I mean, listen, where else are you going to be? It's March 22nd. Listen, I mean, your brackets will probably be bursted by now. There's no football, like Joey said. We have no football. I mean, I'm not counting whatever the USFL and the, whatever they do with that. That's not still a few more weeks. So, where else are you going to be on a great day on March 22nd? And watch the likes of Joey Knight Jr. and CJ Flores, whoever wins the FTWA Rumble, and watch so many of our friends like D'Angelo the Flame, Mickey Vargas, and Ace Christian, and, the Establishment. It's just a great group of talent, and I would hope that everybody would support them here. And I wanted to ask you before we sign off, do you have anything else you want to plug? Anything else you want to say before we get to closing thoughts?
Man, just the usuals. All my social medias: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, the like. And yeah, if you are in the area for Texarkana, Arkansas, come out to the show on March 22nd. It's going to be our first time for all three companies to play host in Texarkana.
This is a big
And
deal, by the way. To have 3 companies like this, that is a big deal. Huge
yeah,
magnitude there.
and and thinking positive thoughts here. I'm not going to say if, but when this is successful, when this show is a success, when we pack that building out, it'll bring more opportunity. It'll show everyone involved, like, oh, okay, hey, the people here in Texarkana do want to see us. They do want to see our guys. And I do want to see that for everyone involved, whether it's the homegrown HCW talent that I deal with every month, or if it's my SSW crew down in Houston. And that can be another semi-regular home for them coming up here to Texarkana. I know for someone like Big Hoss, we've had conversations about it in the past. He used to be a part of this area. He used to live in this area. So he would love if, Texarkana could be a nice little outlet for him and his guys down in Houston. And at the end of the day, uh, outside of obviously winning the SSW World Heavyweight Championship, and outside of one of my boys, Eclipser Aaron Black, winning the FTWA World Heavyweight Championship, that's why I want the most out of the show, is to pack that building out, the crowd be wild and loud, they enjoy the show, and they let us know that, hey, we want Haybarn Championship Wrestling to come back to Texarkana. We want FTWA to come back to Texarkana. We want SSW to come back to Texarkana, and we want it as frequently as possible. So please, if you're in the area, come out to When Worlds Collide on March 22nd. Doors open at 2 p.m. Bell time is 3 p.m. It's an early show, ladies and gentlemen, but it's going to be a good show.
No, it's going to be a great show. And I couldn't agree with you more. And that's why I have that poster up one more time before we sign off. You need to go out there and support what SSW, HCW, and FTWA are doing. That's going to take place at One Legion Drive-In Texarkana, Arkansas, March 22nd. Like Joey said, doors open 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, 3 p.m. Standard Time. It's only $15 front row. And get this, general admission is only $10. Listen, I go out to eat here in New York and I spend 3 times that. You want to talk about going to a movie? I spend 3 times on that. $10 general admission, $15 front row. You can see some of the very best up-and-coming wrestlers out there around, and you can certainly see Joey Knight Jr. have an opportunity to make history, and win a world championship in front of friends and family, and his opportunity for the first time really to wrestle in front of friends and family. This is a huge deal. That's why we're very excited about the show. We've always supported the guys in SSW and HCW, and we want to continue to support those. It is about all wrestling matters, and this is definitely the definition of that. So please go out there. There's going to be a lot of great stuff. You have to be there. Like I said, your bracket's going to be bursted. So your bubble's going to be bursted with your bracket. You have no football. There's no excuses. March 22nd's coming up. It's right around the corner. Please go out there and support Joey Knight Jr., all the great talents. Please support HCW, SSW, FTWA. And I tell you what, Joey, we will definitely have you. You win the big one on Sunday. We'll figure a day out the next week or two. We'll let you come on here and celebrate. I have no doubt that'll be quite a conversation. In the meantime, follow Joey on his Instagram page, YouTube. Also, check him out on TikTok. I do watch some of his stuff there. And please support the companies he represents. And it is also Joey Knight Jr. Day here. So we will give you this. I know we've done it before, but very excited to see what's ahead. I'm very excited to see Ace Christian and what he does. My regards to him and D'Angelo the Flame. And definitely I was taken aback by the way D'Angelo looks, but at least he told us he will grow it back. So that'll be a fun conversation. I hope he comes back on soon. And my regards also to Mickey Vargas. At least you probably won't be putting him through glass of any sorts in this particular Sunday show. But nevertheless, Joey, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do here, and best of luck. And we'll see if you become a world champion in front of friends and family. No pressure, as we stated. So you are the Brick House for a reason, and I'm looking forward to it. Congratulations on the big win on Friday, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Talk to you as well soon.
All right, that's the Brick House, Joey Knight Jr. He'll be in action coming up this Sunday. You can catch him also for HCW. That'll take place in April, the second Saturday of the month. We'll definitely get into that and talk about some other things he has coming up next month on the show. But in the meantime, he'll be wrestling CJ Flores, who is the SSW champion. He'll also be wrestling the FTWA Rumble winner, which could even be his brethren in the establishment. But we'll have to see who wins that. In the meantime, my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voice figuratively and literally with all music and all wrestling matters. If you're here on Sportswire Radio, like, share, and subscribe. My interview is playing now with Julia Lodgy. I also have on Striper guitarist Michael Sweet later this week. So to hell with the devil, and hopefully you tune into that. And I had Drowning Pool last week. So we're running the gauntlet. We were from Let the Bodies Hit the Floor to Hell with the Devil. So it's really running the gauntlet here on Sportswire. Maybe we need you back on soon to win that championship this weekend so we can kind of get in the thick of it all. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I will be back on here Thursday with the IMF gang once again. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, with all music and all wrestling matters. Thanks, everybody. See you later.